Stop. Before you do anything else today, before you check your messages, before you scroll, before you decide what to eat, I need you to hear this. 10 minutes from right now, your life could look completely different. Not because something happened to you, but because of a decision you made. And most people never make that decision. Not because they don't want to, but because nobody ever showed them how fast it can happen. What I'm going to walk you through right now is a framework that takes 10 minutes and touches every major area of your life. Your mindset, your habits, your direction, your energy. If you stay until the end, there's one insight I've saved for last. It's the thing that actually makes everything else work. And I promise it's not what you're expecting. Let's get into it. A few years ago, I was sitting in my car in a parking lot at 11 p.m., engine off, not ready to go home yet. I wasn't in a crisis. I wasn't falling apart. I was just stuck, doing everything I was supposed to do. Showing up, working hard, ticking boxes, and still feeling like I was standing still. I picked up a notebook and I wrote one question at the top of the page. If I keep living exactly like this, where do I end up in 5 years? I didn't like the answer. That was the night I started building what I'm about to share with you. And it's been stress-tested, adjusted, and refined over hundreds of conversations with people who were in the same place I was. 5 decisions. 10 minutes. Let's go. Decision 1. Decide what you're actually optimizing for. Here's a problem most people never talk about. You're working hard towards something. Every day you're putting in effort, making sacrifices, staying disciplined. But nobody ever stopped and asked you, is the thing you're working toward actually what you want? Not what your parents want. Not what looks impressive. Not what the algorithm says is success. What do you want? Think about a GPS. If you type in the wrong destination, it doesn't matter how fast you drive. You're optimizing for the wrong place. You'll arrive efficiently at somewhere you never wanted to be. I watched a friend of mine grind for 3 years to get a promotion that doubled his salary. Day 1 of his new role, he called me and said, "I don't even like this job. I just like the idea of winning it." That's what happens when you skip decision 1. So here's the minute-long exercise. Grab something to write on. Answer this. In 5 years, what does a great day look like for me specifically? Not a job title. Not a number. A day. What are you doing? Who are you with? How do you feel when you wake up? That answer is your real destination. Everything else comes second. If this is making sense so far, go ahead and like the video and subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown. Alright, let's keep going. Decision 2. Decide which version of yourself you're becoming. Here's something that nobody wants to say out loud. Your habits aren't building a better life. They're building a version of you. And that version is going to show up and live your life whether you designed it or not. Most people treat habits like chores. Something to check off. But the people who actually change, they make one shift. They stop asking, what do I need to do? And start asking, who do I need to become? There's a concept in psychology called identity-based behavior. Basically, we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our identity. So, if you want to become someone who exercises consistently, it's not about motivation. It's about deciding, I am someone who moves my body. Full stop. A woman I know had tried every diet and workout plan available. Nothing stuck. Then one day she just made a quiet decision. I'm the kind of person who takes care of her health. No big announcement. No public challenge. And then she started making tiny choices that matched that identity. 18 months later, a completely different person. From the inside out. Decision 2 is this. Write down 3 words that describe the person you're becoming. Not who you are right now. Who you're becoming. Present tense. Active. Disciplined, focused, consistent, or whatever fits you. Then every morning, just a few seconds, read those 3 words. You're not just reading. You're voting for that identity. Decision 3, decide what you're going to stop tolerating. This one's uncomfortable. So I'm going to say it fast. There is something in your life right now that you already know is holding you back. You know it. It's not a mystery. And you've been tolerating it, maybe for months, maybe for years, because confronting it feels harder than just living with it. Could be a relationship that drains you. A habit that's robbing your time. A story you keep telling yourself about why you can't. A comfort zone that feels safe but is actually shrinking your world. Here's what I know about tolerance. The things we tolerate don't stay the same size. They grow. What you ignore at 20 becomes the thing that defines you at 40. I had a habit of checking my phone first thing every morning, before I even got out of bed. And I kept telling myself it wasn't a big deal. But what I was actually doing was starting every single day in reactive mode. Responding to everyone else's agenda before I'd even had a thought of my own. I stopped tolerating it on a Tuesday. Just move the phone across the room. And something shifted in my mornings, and eventually in my entire day within a week. Decision 3 is naming the one thing you're going to stop tolerating. Not 5 things. 1. Write it down. Put a date on it. That date is when it ends. Ownership looks like naming what you've been letting slide. Decision 4. Decide to protect your energy like a resource. I want to ask you something and I want you to actually think about it. When did you last feel genuinely energized by your day? Not just okay. Not just surviving. Actually alive, focused, firing on all cylinders? For most people, the honest answer is, not recently. And the reason isn't laziness. It isn't lack of discipline. It's that we've never been taught to treat energy as a finite resource. We'd never drain our phone battery to zero every day without charging it. But we do that to ourselves constantly. We say yes when we mean no. We stay up scrolling when our brain is begging to rest. We give our best hours to the least important tasks. Think of your daily energy like a tank. Most high performers don't have bigger tanks. They've just figured out what fills theirs and what drains it. And they've ruthlessly eliminated the leaks. Decision 4 is spending 2 minutes right now doing an energy audit. Write 2 columns. Things that consistently give you energy, and things that consistently drain it. Then look at your week. How much of your time is spent in each column? You don't have to overhaul everything at once. Just move the needle 5% toward the things that fill you. That 5% compounds fast. Decision 5. Decide to build in discomfort. Almost everything I've talked about so far is about clarity. Knowing where you're going, knowing who you are, knowing what to cut, knowing your energy. But here's the part where most personal development content falls short. Clarity without action is just a beautiful plan that never left the notebook. So the 5th decision, and this is the one that actually bridges thinking and doing, is choosing to build discomfort into your life on purpose. Not suffering. Not punishment. Chosen discomfort. The gym is hard. Cold showers are uncomfortable. Having the honest conversation feels risky. Sitting with a hard problem instead of reaching for your phone is genuinely difficult. But here's what the research actually shows. Every time you choose discomfort over avoidance, you're not just completing a task. You're rewriting your brain's understanding of what you're capable of. There's a concept from sports psychology. The stretch zone. Not the comfort zone, where growth is zero. Not the panic zone, where you shut down. The stretch zone, where you're slightly past comfortable. That's where every real skill, every real result, every real version of yourself gets built. Decision 5 is picking one thing every day that you're going to do anyway, even though part of you doesn't want to. Not because it has to be grand. Because the muscle you're building isn't the specific action. It's the follow-through. The trust you're building with yourself. Okay, I promised you something. The thing I saved for last. The thing that makes everything else actually work. Here it is. Every single decision I walked you through today, knowing your direction, choosing your identity, naming what to stop tolerating, protecting your energy, building discomfort, they all have one thing in common. They require you to take your future seriously. That sounds obvious. But stay with me. Most people live in a constant negotiation between who they want to be and who they are right now. And the reason that negotiation never settles, the reason the gap stays open, is this: they don't actually believe their future self is real. Your future self feels abstract, distant, like a character in a story that hasn't been written yet. And so, we keep stealing from them. We take the sleep, the savings, the time, the healthy choices, we take it from that person and we spend it on the comfort of right now. But here's what changes everything. The moment you start treating your future self as a real person, someone with feelings, someone you're responsible to, someone whose life you're either building or borrowing from, that's the moment decisions get easier. That's the moment the things in this video stop being advice and start being obvious. Because you're not sacrificing. You're just finally being loyal to someone you've been neglecting. Yourself. Let's bring it home. 5 decisions, 10 minutes. 1. Decide what you're actually optimizing for. Map your real destination. 2. Decide who you're becoming. 3 words. Read them daily. 3. Decide what you're no longer tolerating. Name it, date it, end it. 4. Audit your energy. Double down on what fills you. Cut the leaks. 5. Choose discomfort every day. Build trust. Build muscle. And the thing that makes all of it land, start treating your future self like someone who deserves to exist. If this hits you, don't let it be a video you watched and forgot. Pick one of these 5 decisions. Just one. And actually do the exercise right now before the feeling fades. Write down which one you're starting with in the comments. I read them. And honestly, just naming it out loud makes you more likely to follow through. If someone in your life is in that stuck in the parking lot feeling I described at the start, Send this to them. Not as a hint. Just as something that helped you. Now, the decisions we talked about today are about direction. But there's another layer to this that most people completely skip. Because making a decision is one thing. But what happens the next morning when your alarm goes off and everything in your body is telling you to stay in bed? In the next video, we're exploring how 10 minutes of intentional thinking can redirect the next decade of your life. Because sometimes the biggest life changes don't come from huge moments. They come from small decisions made when nobody else is paying attention. If the video was helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more powerful content like this. And check out this playlist for even more productive, mindset-shifting videos that will help you level up. See you in the next one.